What up, America? What up, world? Welcome to a Better Black America podcast, the #1 urban podcast stateside and worldwide. Now, today is Monday, May 9th, 2022. Now, we're going to have a moment of silence. A moment of silence for the brand ambassador, the YouTube influencer, the relationship therapist, self-proclaimed, Kevin Samuels. A moment of silence. And the sad thing about it is the death of Kevin Samuels is the fact that there are human beings on this planet, literally human beings on this planet that are happy, making and are mocking, laughing and clowning, and pissing on this man's grave and his legacy. He's not even in the ground yet. We don't even know what happened. So I guess they're going to leave the internet to be the lead in the investigations because we need to know exactly what happened. There are so many stories surfacing. I done read so many articles just to see if I could see something different. Just to see if I could see a consistency somewhere where I can actually report or share my point of view on some commentary. But I have yet to find that jugular vein that I'm looking for. Because what they're showing us, they're telling us what they want to tell us. Okay, yes, he's 57 years old and 57-year-olds die of heart attacks. Okay, that's the normal thing. Okay, 57-year-old. People just die of heart attacks. That's fine and all. And then there are some articles that were talking about some foul play when it comes to drugs, cocaine, as well as Viagra, which is a speedball type combination. But nothing is confirmed. These are YouTubers. These are influencers, such as myself, but there's no way I can actually move on information that I have not, at least myself, been convinced of, because it's tough to go back and redact your full statement and all the energy that you put into it. You feel kind of foolish a little bit. But Kevin Samuels, I would say within the last year, when I personally started hearing about him, or he started making waves, he's been on the internet, he's been on YouTube for a while. But within the last physical year, he switched up the program a little bit. He's a branded ambassador. He's an image consultant. So he consulted himself and created something that I would believe that most, if not all, YouTubers, or if not all social media people, he lived it. He got there. He understood what it took. But the path that he took could have been the catalyst. Because a lot of times you get outside of your character when you're trying to build a brand, or there's some type of what we would call a long game. We always say that there is a method to the madness, and there always is. But a lot of times we don't get an opportunity to flip the table, because with his platform, he began to flip the table. Now, most of his conversations are with women, combative women that want to argue. And if you down with the Willy Bobo, is what I'm going to say, then you match energy. It doesn't mean anything in the sense of, what's being said, but the fact that you're matching energy is the entertainment part of why people loved or hated his show. Because I've talked to people, what you doing? Oh, I'm watching Kevin Samuels. I've had people send me videos. I even said, maybe I should try something in this lane, and started some things on Facebook, and lady, his show by her and all of this. But as soon as I started getting harassed by the women and them telling me what to do, I switched gears, because I am not a sellout. My soul is not for sale. I understand everybody has a purpose, and even though that you're being successful in that field, in that genre, doesn't mean that the next man will. But I do have passion for community. I do have passion for my people. I do have passion for the Black nuclear family. But one thing I'm not going to do is sit back and argue with combative human beings. And they come in all shapes and sizes, men and women. But typically the ones that have the issues with stepping their game up. And I'm going to say this because high value men, high value women. Either this person, had a mentor, because that's the first time that I've ever started hearing of a black man talking about high value women and men being high value men. Now, there's a flip side to everything. There's high value men, high value women, but then there's the bottom of the totem pole. And it seems like somewhere between the middle or the bottom middle is where the people have the issues. Because when you're having conversations and you're talking about relationships and you're talking about community, there's a entire group of factual things that will take place. Your foundation will begin to develop. When you're trying to be a high value person, you can't be a person of high value of any sort if you're not taking care of yourself. And the times that I've seen where the brother Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, have talked to men, it seems like, men would call in as well. And it seems like some of the men will call in just to play some games, talk about, they don't have a job yet, that they looking for a woman to take care of them, just for the polarizing component of the brother's show. And in my personal opinion, the truth hurts. Especially if you don't say it out of love. And a lot of times people try to come for us, and I know I'm not the only man where women, she came for me, but she was sadly mistaken and thought I was one of them. They are those, but found out that I was a man, and that game stopped right there. And it was a tough lesson, for her and the rest of them to learn, because certain men are wired a certain way. Now, with Kevin Samuels, he created who he is. Now, God rest his soul. I never went on record being negative with him. I was being, taunted, by my cronies. You should get out there, man, and clown him, man. He used to be a Yale leader. You should get out there and clown him, man. He one of those metrosexuals. You should get out there and clown him, man. He was a Yale leader. You should get out there and clown him, man. He a Kappa. He ain't even a Q dog, a Sigma or Alpha. And what does that mean? Let the Greeks tell you that one. But my whole point is, we move, by our spirit. And if we don't allow our spirit to lead us, then we will be led on the wrong path and in the wrong direction. And if we don't have no spiritual guidance, we would just do and say things without thinking, because I know that there's a lot of people who will soon be redacting their negative post on another human being that actually died over the weekend. I would say Thursday of last week, who was actually successful. Yes, a 57-year-old YouTuber, influencer, and what they say self-proclaimed relationship guru died with a value net worth of $4 million. That's pretty successful for an individual that did not work for an NBC or ABC or Viacom or any of the networks. So this is why we have to really understand and try to, stick close to the story, because we know without a shadow of a doubt, a lot of times, these stories, they just go away. And this is what they are expecting this situation to do. And for us to just make our own determination, because no one's going to come on record and let us know what's going on. But we need to see the entire police report, not the first narrative of the police report. We need to see the full, the toxology. Did he have cocaine in his system? Did he have Viagra in his system? Was he having sex? Because I saw the story, or I read the article, I think in Associated Press, where the woman said that she met Kevin Samuels the night before. They spent the night together. That morning, he complained of chest pains. and he fell on top of her. End of the whole entire news article. And then it goes on to say that either she called the front desk for a defibrillator or she went down to the front desk for a defibrillator. His room number was 16 or something, so he clearly stayed on the 16th floor. But this person was supposed to be a nurse. And there's images surfacing of a Asian Pacific Islander Asian woman who's supposed to be an OnlyFans person. And this is supposed to be the person that he spent the night with on this one night stand. And it's strange that this Asian Pacific Islander female had a one night stand with a successful black man worth $4 million. And the next day he's dead on a one night stand. So listen, if something were to happen to me or anybody that you know, if I have a one night stand, okay, with a female and somehow I don't make it another day, please investigate. Because I know the easiest thing to do is just to say, man, a 57-year-old man, hey, snorting cocaine, doing Viagra, hey, it is what it is, and move on. But that's what they want you to know, because this is how they get down. But inquiring minds want to know, because that could have easily been me. Now, I used to be a whoremonger. I'm not a whoremonger anymore, but they know how to get you with your weaknesses. Now, I'm going to throw the cocaine out. I'm going to throw the Viagra out. But the fact that he met a woman and spent the night with her and died the next morning. If I spend a night with a woman, and she don't wake up and I call the police, I know without a shadow of a doubt I'm going to at least be a suspect until, I'm cleared by the detectives, the investigators. Because when you're doing an investigation, everybody is guilty until their story is corroborated and they're cleared. So it's no way we could press charges because we don't have anything. They have an alibi. They have their story together. But this particular situation, you are a nurse. Did you perform CPR? Did you provide the compressions? 32, pause, check for breath. Another 32, pause. Because nowadays there's breathless CPR, but if you spent the night with this man, you could have gave the 32 compressions and the 2 breaths continually until law enforcement or the authorities or the ambulance or the first responders got there. And since you are a nurse, you are a first responder, regardless. So he was with a first responder and perished. Now, we know without a shadow of a doubt that all registered nurses, have a phlebotomy certificate. I think you get that in the first block of nursing school. So she know how to do needles. And I'm taking this angle because we want to prove her innocent, but we're not going to sit back and give her a pass because this looks suspect. Because on Monday, Kevin Samuels was trending on Monday. And I challenge you to go look for the data to see if it's still there. I got screenshots myself on some of my devices. And that's plural. And this story came from The Root. And The Root said, the title said, "Is it time to cancel Kevin Samuels?" And it was a comment that he made about 35-year-old women with 2 or 3 kids or multiple kids or leftovers. Now, maybe insensitive to say, but since he's, perished at 57, then we come from a generation where, God made words and words don't hurt. We're hardliners. To me, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. But I wouldn't say that they're leftovers. But the fact remains is, if you have multiple children, 2 or 3, and you have multiple baby daddies, 2 or 3, and you are single at the age of 35, what does that mean? I won't even put a word for it. You make that decision. There's